What happens when an ordinary person is suddenly transported to another world? Some become heroes. Some become kings. Some gain incredible powers, while others simply try to survive. Isekai and fantasy anime have given us some of the most creative worlds, powerful characters, and unforgettable stories in anime. So today, we're counting down 10 incredible Isekai and fantasy anime that every fan should know. From overpowered protagonists and deadly time loops, to hilarious adventures and massive fantasy kingdoms, this list has something for everyone. Let's begin with number 10. Number 10. Saga of Tanya the Evil. Imagine being reborn into a world where magic and warfare control everything. That's exactly what happens in Saga of Tanya the Evil. After dying in his previous life, a ruthless salaryman is reincarnated as a young girl named Tanya de Gyurchaf. But Tanya isn't interested in becoming a hero. Her only goal is to live a peaceful and comfortable life. Unfortunately for her, the new world is trapped in a massive war. Tanya possesses incredible magical abilities and an extremely strategic mind, making her one of the most dangerous soldiers in the entire military. What makes the series different from typical Isekai anime is its darker and more military-focused atmosphere. Instead of simply exploring a fantasy world, Tanya becomes involved in battles, politics, strategy, and military operations. And despite her young appearance, her personality is anything but innocent. If you enjoy tactical battles, powerful protagonists, and a darker take on the Isekai genre, Saga of Tanya the Evil is definitely worth watching. Number 9. Sword Art Online. What if a virtual reality game suddenly became a fight for survival? That's the basic premise of Sword Art Online. Thousands of players enter a massive virtual reality MMORPG called Sword Art Online. But they soon discover something terrifying. They cannot log out. And if they die inside the game, they die in the real world. Among the players is Kirito, a highly skilled gamer who must fight his way through the dangerous world of Aincrad. Along the journey, he meets allies, faces powerful enemies, and becomes involved in some of the game's biggest mysteries. Sword Art Online became one of the most recognizable anime of the modern era, helping popularize virtual world and game-based anime around the world. With action, romance, adventure, and dramatic moments, it offers a little bit of everything. If you want an anime that combines gaming with fantasy adventure, Sword Art Online is a classic choice. Number 8. The Rising of the Shield Hero. Imagine being summoned to another world as a legendary hero, only to discover that everyone hates you. That's the situation faced by Naofumi Iwatani in The Rising of the Shield Hero. Naofumi is summoned to another world alongside 3 other heroes. Each hero receives a legendary weapon. But Naofumi receives the shield. Unable to attack normally, he quickly finds himself at a disadvantage. Things become even worse when he is betrayed and falsely accused of a crime. With almost everyone against him, Naofumi has to survive using intelligence, determination, and the defensive abilities of his shield. His journey is not simply about becoming stronger. It's about rebuilding his reputation, finding trustworthy companions, and protecting the people who depend on him. The series combines action, fantasy, adventure, and character development. And watching Naofumi gradually transform from an isolated outsider into a powerful leader is one of the most interesting parts of the story. Number 7. No Game No Life. Forget swords and magic for a moment. What if the entire world was controlled by games? That's the concept behind No Game No Life. Sora and Shiro are 2 legendary gamers who are practically unbeatable when they work together. One day, they are transported to a strange fantasy world where every conflict is decided through games. No wars. No ordinary battles. Everything is determined by the rules of the game. For Sora and Shiro, this world is practically paradise. But winning isn't always easy. They must use intelligence, deception, strategy, and psychological tricks to challenge powerful opponents. One of the biggest strengths of No Game No Life is its colorful world and unique concept. Instead of relying entirely on physical strength, the characters win by outsmarting their opponents. The sibling duo also creates some incredibly entertaining moments throughout the story. If you enjoy intelligent protagonists, mind games, colorful fantasy worlds, and creative battles, No Game No Life deserves a place on your watch list. Number 6. The Eminence Indiana Shadow. What if someone secretly wanted to become the ultimate mastermind controlling everything from the shadows? That's exactly what Sid Kagenu wants. In his previous life, Sid dreamed of becoming a mysterious power hiding behind the scenes. After being reincarnated into a fantasy world, he finally gets the opportunity. Sid creates a secret organization called Shadow Garden and begins fighting against a mysterious cult. But there's one hilarious problem. Sid thinks most of the stories surrounding the cult are simply part of his imagination. Except, they're actually real. This creates one of the funniest elements of the series. Sid believes he's just playing the role of an incredibly powerful shadow mastermind, while everyone around him takes his actions completely seriously. And when Sid actually fights, he proves just how ridiculously powerful he is. The Eminence in Shadow combines comedy, action, fantasy, and an overpowered protagonist into one entertaining package. If you enjoy characters who completely dominate their opponents while barely taking anything seriously, this anime is for you. Number 5. KonoSuba. God's blessing on this wonderful world. Not every Isekai hero gets a legendary adventure. Sometimes, everything goes completely wrong. KonoSuba follows Kazuma Satu, a teenager who dies and gets the chance to be reincarnated into a fantasy world. He is offered the opportunity to choose one thing to take with him. Kazuma chooses the goddess Aqua, and that decision may be his biggest mistake. Kazuma and his strange group of companions quickly discover that becoming heroes isn't as easy as they imagined. Aqua is powerful but incredibly unreliable. Megumin has an unbelievably destructive spell but can only use it once before becoming exhausted. And Darkness is a powerful warrior with one very unusual problem. Together, this completely dysfunctional party somehow manages to survive their adventures. KonoSuba stands out because it constantly makes fun of traditional fantasy and isekai cliches. Instead of making everything dramatic and serious, the series turns its characters' failures into comedy. If you're looking for an isekai that will make you laugh while still delivering fantasy adventures, KonoSuba is one of the best choices. Number 4. Overlord. Now imagine entering a game world and discovering that you're no longer playing the game. You're the most powerful being in it. That's the situation faced by Momonga, the leader of the powerful guild Ains Ul Gaon. When the virtual MMORPG Yggdrasil shuts down, Momonga remains inside. But instead of being logged out, he discovers that he has been transported into a real fantasy world. Even more surprising, the powerful NPCs from his guild have also come to life. Now known as Ains Ul Gaon, he begins exploring this unfamiliar world while searching for answers. But there's a major difference between Ains and traditional heroes. He isn't trying to save the world. He wants to understand it, control it, and expand his influence. With an enormous amount of power and an army of loyal followers, Ains quickly becomes one of the most terrifying figures in the new world. Overlord is especially interesting because it tells the story from the perspective of an extremely powerful character. If you enjoy dark fantasy, powerful protagonists, world building, and political conflicts, Overlord is a must-watch. Number 3. That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. Who would expect one of the most powerful fantasy characters to begin life as a slime? That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime follows Satoru Mikami, an ordinary man who dies and is reincarnated in another world. But instead of becoming a warrior or wizard, he is reborn as a slime named Rimuru Tempest. At first, Rimuru seems harmless. But thanks to his unique abilities, he can absorb creatures and gain their skills. As Rimuru explores the new world, he begins making friends with monsters, humans, and other powerful beings. Eventually, his goal becomes much bigger. He wants to create a peaceful nation where different races can live together. And that's where the kingdom-building aspect of the series becomes especially interesting. Rimuru doesn't simply become stronger. He builds alliances, develops his territory, creates an organized society, and deals with powerful enemies. The anime combines comedy, action, adventure, politics, and world building. And watching Rimuru's small beginnings grow into something enormous is one of the most satisfying parts of the series. If you love overpowered characters and fantasy world building, That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime is an easy recommendation. Number 2. Starting life in another world. Most isekai protagonists receive incredible powers. Subaru Natsuki receives something much more terrifying. After being transported to another world, Subaru discovers that whenever he dies, he returns to an earlier point in time. This ability is known as Return by Death. It sounds powerful, but there's a catch. Subaru has to experience the consequences of his failures and use the information from previous attempts to change the future. He can't simply overpower every enemy. Instead, he has to think, adapt, make alliances, and understand the people around him. Every mistake can lead to another devastating situation. And because Subaru remembers what happened while everyone else doesn't, his journey becomes incredibly difficult. One of the biggest strengths of Re is its character development. Subaru isn't introduced as a perfect hero. He makes mistakes, becomes overwhelmed, and has to learn from his experiences. The series combines mystery, psychological drama, fantasy, action, and emotional storytelling. If you want an isekai where the protagonist's greatest weapon is his determination to keep trying, Re is one of the strongest choices in the genre. Number 1. Mushoku Tensei, Jobless Reincarnation. And finally, at number 1, we have Mushoku Tensei, Jobless Reincarnation. The story follows a man who gets another chance at life after being reincarnated into a fantasy world. He is reborn as Rudeus Grey Rat. Unlike many protagonists who immediately become unstoppable heroes, Rudeus starts his new life as a child. He retains memories from his previous life and decides that this time, he will try to live his life differently. Rudeus quickly discovers that he has an incredible talent for magic. But his journey isn't simply about becoming powerful. He grows up, meets new people, learns about the world, and experiences both victories and failures. The series is particularly known for its detailed fantasy world. Different regions, cultures, magical systems, races, and characters all contribute to making the world feel much larger than the protagonist's immediate surroundings. The story also focuses heavily on personal growth. Rudeus has to confront his weaknesses and gradually become a more capable person. With beautiful animation, detailed world building, strong character development, and an expansive fantasy setting, Mushoku Tensei has become one of the most influential modern isekai anime. If you're looking for an isekai that feels like a long fantasy adventure rather than simply a power fantasy, Mushoku Tensei is definitely worth checking out. And that's our countdown of 10 incredible isekai and fantasy anime. From the dark world of Saga of Tanya the Evil, to the comedy of KonoSuba, the strategy of No Game No Life, the world building of That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, and the incredible journeys of Re and Mushoku Tensei. Every anime on this list brings something different to the genre. But now I want to know your opinion. Which anime would you rank at number 1? And which isekai anime do you think deserves to be on this list? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more anime countdowns. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.